What's up, guys? Lee from YGO TCG Bournemouth here. This is my, well, I'm calling it a SatellarSwarm deck profile. I was messing around the other day. I recently got the Satellar Knight core. I've always been a bit of an Evil Swarm fan, and I was playing around with it, and I noticed that most of the back row cards are very similar to my old Evil Swarm build. So I decided I was going to try and combine the two. And this is the profile I came up with. It won me my locals last night. I went 4-0. It was really good fun, and I'll bring up points throughout this video. But here we go. So for main board monsters, we had 3 copies of Satellar Knight Deneb. Obviously your adder from the deck, summon, add any other Satellar Knight, just a great card. Normally combined straight into Altair for the resurrection ability. Into Altair, 3 copies. Obviously, you need 3. He just resurrects any Satellar Knights, and it's great for Xyz plays, great for the 3 obs, and that moment when you want to make a Travere. And 2 copies of Vega. Now that's all my Satellar Knight monsters. Obviously, there's 8 of them there. It doesn't seem like much, but it's enough to do what I need to do, and I needed to make room for what I've added in. 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit, main boarded, and he is in there for these bad boys. 3 copies of Evil Swarm Heliotrope. A 1950 beat stick, that's still great, this form, at being able to run over most things and crash into Thunder King if you need to. But obviously being able to special summon 2 out and do a bit of damage and then have an Ophi on board with a Stellar Knight core is just crazy. Okay, that's all the monsters. For spells, I have 3 copies of Reinforcements of the Army, 3 copies of MST, 1 copy of Soul Charge, which I always sided out, and 1 copy of Regeki. Now for the traps, now this is what won me the games really this week. My trap selection, but this card in particular, which is Anti-Spell Fragrance. It really slows this format down. The amount of people that rely on so many spell cards, for instance Necros, are just completely ruined by this card. It just locks them out completely. I had Anti-Spell Frag on game 1, and my opponent was setting all his spells, and I was MSTing them before he could even get them off, which works ridiculously well. 3 copies of Core of the Haunted, obviously for the Altair, or even for a Vega if it's in graveyard and I want an extra summon. 3 copies of Stellar Nova Alpha. Again, those 6 cards all get sided out, but I'll show you the side deck in a minute. 2 copies of Mirror Force. A great card I find at the moment, purely because I was thinking D-Prison, but being able to take out more than 1 at a time, stopping those OTKs, is just a great option to have. And there isn't enough cards. I mean, again, against Necros, I chained Mirror Force. I took out his Manju. Unfortunately, he did drop a Gungnir, but at least I didn't take an extra 1400 damage, so it was worth having there, and he had to use resources to protect his Trishula. 2 copies of Mind Crush, another great card this format, great on the main board. Worked really well against a Monarch player, unfortunately so for him. I was very lucky with my core local Caius and happened to stop him summoning, but yeah, a great card and perfect this format. I mean, really good, everyone adds. 2 copies of Fiendish Chain for things that I can't stop quicker. 2 copies of Vanity's Emptiness. I'm one of the few people that's probably very happy about this being hit on the ban list, because I'm a big fan of plant decks and Sylvans in particular, and this was ruining my deck, so it's nice for it to be finally gone. 1 copy of Solemn Warning, and 1 Bottomless, and 1 Compulse. That is 20 traps. On to the side deck, and this is where it gets interesting. 3 copies of Evil Swarm Caster, even. 3 copies of Evil Swarm Mandragora, and 3 copies of Evil Swarm Karakyle, 2 copies of Evil Swarm Thunderbird, 3 Infestation Pandemic, and 1 Infestation Infection. The reason I went for the entire core switch is because I found that those 15 cards are really easy to side into this build. I would side out 3 Stellar Nova Alphas for those 3. I would side out Soul Charge for Infestation Pandemic. Obviously, 8 of the Evil Swarm monsters were sided out for 8 of the Satellarknight deck monsters. And then, yeah, just other cards would be taken out. I could literally switch the engine completely, but it won me a game against Spiritual Beasts, because he was ruining me game one. I just dropped game one, gave him the game, went to game two and sided 15 cards, switched over to YGO and completely locked him down. Into the extra deck, one Cowboy, won me game two against Spiritual Beast this evening. I managed to attack over him and then burn him for 800 for game. One Dweller, didn't need to use it this week, but would always keep it there just for mermails or anyone who tries to go hands or anything like that. Castell, used to return an Ice Hand against Mars's Evil Swarm deck, really helpful. One Excalibur, used it, shouldn't have used it, misplayed, but a great card and so nice to have a 4K beta to have an out to other monsters. One copy of 101. One Gandiva. I did use Gandiva against my my Monarch matchup, final round, purely because he was running Battle Faders, so I was hoping that if he special summoned a Battle Fader, I could at least blitz it so he wouldn't have anything to tribute. One Delthros. Two Trevere. And one Diamond for the Satellarknights. One Exciton. One Bahamut. Two Ophion. And one Ouroboros for the Evil Swarm. I wouldn't run Ouroboros next time. I think it's a great card, but I didn't need to go into it. It's not the idea of the engine switch, and there's better options. Normally, you're not often going for a 3 of. But, you know, I put it in there because I was just trying it out. But yeah, that's my deck profile. I mean, it's a bit different. Let me know what you think. Give me any ideas. Any questions, please ask. But for now, that's Lee out.